has Raya Coleman pinned against a pillar, one arm crushing her shoulder, the other gripping her wrist so tightly her fingers turn white. "I said stop," she gasps, one hand instinctively covering her stomach. 7 months pregnant. Alone. Terrified. He doesn't loosen his grip. "You people never listen," he snarls. "Shoplifters don't get mercy." "I didn't steal anything, please, my baby!" A small crowd forms. A phone lifts. Another follows. Whispers swirl. Then a black SUV door slams. A tall man in an immaculate charcoal suit strides towards them, controlled fury radiating off him. Alexander Ward. Billionaire, philanthropist. Board members tremble when he raises his voice. Tonight, he raises it at a guard twice his size. "Let her go." The guard scoffs. "Sir, she—" Alexander steps between them, jaw locked. "Let her go." Silence. Phones capture everything. The guard hesitates. Then Raya's knees buckle. Alexander lunges forward, catching her before she hits the ground. He doesn't know the truth yet. And she has no idea the man holding her is the father of the child she's fighting to keep. "Put her in the car," he snaps to his driver. "We're closer to the estate than the hospital. She gets help there now." This is Black Stories, where the pain of prejudice is told and justice always finds its voice. If you believe a black woman's body should never be treated like property or collateral, stay with this story. Then like, share, and subscribe so more people see what really happens when power meets a woman who refuses to be owned. Raya Coleman moves like someone carrying the whole world on her back. Quiet, careful, never wasting a breath. At 7 months pregnant, every step hurts. But she still shows up before sunrise to the hospice center, tucking her swollen hands into gloves before lifting frail patients who outweigh her. She jokes softly with them, hides her winces, works through the nausea that comes like tides. The other aides whisper, "She's too stressed. She should be on leave. She doesn't have anyone, does she?" They're right. She doesn't. But Raya keeps moving, because stopping feels dangerous. As she helps an old woman eat warm oatmeal, a flash of memory hits. Clean tiles, harsh lights, the clinic promising, "Just a simple donation, sweetheart. You'll help a family and earn enough to save your mother." Her mother's chemo wasn't covered. Someone had to try. So Raya signed the papers. That was the first trap. The sedation came next, heavier than they said, leaving her dizzy for days. Then the phone call. "Congratulations, implantation successful. We'll be in touch." Implantation? She hadn't agreed to that. Not like that. When Raya learned the embryo wasn't from anonymous donors, but from a billionaire couple whose infertility was whispered about in hushed tabloids, her blood froze. She asked for answers. The wife didn't even blink. "That child is ours, and you will deliver it." Raya tried to run then. Security appeared outside her job the next morning. A black SUV followed her home at night. The clinic lost her medical files. A lawyer emailed her a warning about breach of contract. So Raya disappeared. New job, cheaper room, fake last name, and a baby she refused to surrender. Every morning she writes the same words on her bathroom mirror. "What they stole from me will not define my child." Sometimes, when the nausea eases and the apartment is finally quiet, she presses her palm to her belly and whispers, "You're not theirs. You're mine. We're getting out." The baby answers with a soft kick, a tiny, stubborn promise that keeps her moving. That's the woman Alexander Ward saved in that parking lot, having no idea she is carrying his heir, or that saving her is about to detonate his entire world. Raya wakes in flashes. Cold air, gloved hands, voices that sound like they're bouncing through metal. She tries to sit up. The world tilts. Then she feels it. An arm around her shoulders, a steady grip holding her upright. Alexander Ward. She doesn't know his name yet, only that he's warm, steady, and moving her away from the danger she collapsed beside. But as her vision clears, she sees something over his shoulder. Floodlights, a 15-foot gate, a crest carved into wrought iron. She realizes where she is. The estate. Their estate. The place she has spent months avoiding like the devil himself. Her pulse spikes. She tries to pull away, but she's too weak. Inside the gate, everything shifts. Alexander strides across a courtyard of marble and trimmed hedges, his tux jacket wrapped around her shoulders. He walks like he's carrying something priceless. His security detail jogs behind, panicked, scrambling, confused. A guard whispers, "Sir, she came out of nowhere." Alexander snaps, "She's pregnant and barely breathing. Open the damn door!" Raya watches all of it through a haze, but she catches one detail. The guards weren't panicked for her. They were panicked for being seen mishandling her. The door to the estate swings open. Warmth hits them, and suddenly the contrast is blinding. Inside is excess, gold light, chandeliers, champagne towers, gowns that glow like molten metal, a charity gala in full swing, politicians posing for photographers, influencers live streaming, donors boasting about impact. For a flicker of a moment, Alexander feels the old discomfort, the performative smiles, the hollow speeches about impact, but he pushes it aside, as he always has. And in the middle of all of it, Alexander Ward holds a black, pregnant woman in his arms like she is the only real thing in the room. The crowd freezes. The whispers start instantly. Who is she? Is she staff? Is she okay? Why is he carrying her like that? Phones lift. And then, from across the ballroom, a slender woman in a diamond needle dress turns. Lillian Ward, Alexander's wife. Her smile is mid-sentence, ready for cameras. But the moment she sees Raya, it dies. Her face drains of color so fast it looks like she's been slapped by a ghost. Raya recognizes her instantly. The wife from the clinic. The woman who once whispered threats behind a mahogany desk. The woman who told her, "You don't get to run from your obligations." They lock eyes. Raya's blood chills. Lillian lunges towards security, voice sharp and trembling. "Get her out of here, now, quietly." One guard hesitates, another steps back. But Alexander doesn't. He adjusts Raya in his arms and says, calm, firm, not asking permission, "I'm not letting her die on my doorstep." That single sentence slices through the room. Gasps. Cameras turn. People stare at Lillian, not Alexander, with confusion. Because Lillian looks terrified, not of a stranger collapsing, but of a truth walking through her front door wrapped in her husband's jacket. Raya sees it, the panic in her eyes, the recognition, the fear. She knows Raya. She remembers her. And she knows exactly what Raya is carrying. The hierarchy cracks right there. The first fracture in a glass palace built on secrets. Alexander carries Raya past glittering tables, her breaths shallow, her hands trembling against his chest. The chandeliers glow like judgmental eyes above them. Conversations pause. Forks freeze mid-air. Guests lean in as though watching a scandal unfold on stage. A woman in pearls mutters, "Did she wander in looking for a payout?" A man laughs softly. "Security at these events is slipping. Anyone can stroll in now." Another guest lifts his phone, whispering to his date. This'll go viral in minutes. Billionaire carries mystery woman into gala. Raya hears it all. The sneers, the suspicion, the quiet venom reserved for people who look like her. Her fingers tighten on Alexander's sleeve, desperate, shaking. She whispers, barely audible, "Don't. Let them take me. They can't have him." Alexander stops in his tracks. "Him?" he repeats, confusion cutting through the noise. But Raya's eyes are glassy, unfocused, like her mind is slipping somewhere between pain and terror. Her lips tremble as though she's fighting to keep the truth inside her body. Before she can force another word out, security slices through the crowd. 3 men in black suits forming a wall around them. "Sir," the tallest one says, "she's trespassing. We need to remove her." "Trespassing?" Alexander snaps. "She collapsed outside the gate. She could be dying." "And we'll escort her to paramedics," the guard replies. Outside. On the other side of the room, Lillian steps forward. Her voice is calm, polished, perfectly controlled, the kind of calmness that comes before someone does something cruel. "Alexander," she says softly, "she's a stranger. Don't do this scene right now. Hand her to security. Let the staff handle it." Her tone is soothing for the guests, but her eyes are burning holes through Raya's body. Raya feels that stare, feels the intention behind it, feels the cold dread climb her spine. She clutches Alexander harder. Her voice breaks as she whispers, "They lied to me. They used me. Please." Alexander freezes. Her words hit him like a blow. Lied to me. Used me. They. He looks between his wife and the terrified pregnant woman gripping him like she's clinging to life itself. None of this makes sense, but his instincts scream that something is terribly wrong. Security moves closer, reaching for Raya's arms. "We need her to come with us," one says firmly. Raya panics. "Don't touch me. Please, don't let them take me back." She twists away, pain ripping through her belly. Her breath shortens into frantic gasps. Alexander steps forward, blocking the guards. "She is in distress," he says sharply, "and she stays with me until a medical team checks her." "She's in distress because she shouldn't be here," Lillian counters, her smile tight. "This isn't your responsibility." "It is," Alexander fires back, "because she collapsed at our gate." The guards try again. "Sir, move aside." A sharp cry cuts through the air. Not fear. Pain. Real, body-deep pain. Raya doubles over in Alexander's arms, clutching her stomach. A gush hits the marble floor beneath her. Gasps erupt throughout the room. Her water has broken. Chaos detonates. Screams, shouts, phones rising, guests stumbling backward from the spreading water as if it were fire. Alexander tightens his arms around her, eyes wide. "Somebody call EMS!" he yells. But Raya, trembling violently, squeezes his wrist and whispers one sentence that shatters everything. "Please, don't let them take my baby." And Alexander realizes, this isn't a medical emergency. This is a hunt. The ambulance doors slam shut, sirens screaming into the night. Alexander stands frozen in the spill of red and blue lights, Raya's last terrified plea still echoing in his ears. Something else hits the pavement. A thin, worn folder. The kind people carry when they have no lawyer, no power, just proof. One of the paramedics glances back. "Sir, she dropped that. Looked like she was clutching it when she collapsed." Alexander kneels and picks up the folder. It's bent at the edges, corners frayed, held together by a rubber band. It looks like it has lived months in fear, in buses, in cheap rooms, under pillows. Like the thing she never lets out of her sight. The folder you keep when the only armor you have is evidence. He opens it. His heart stops. The crowd quiets. Security hovers. Lillian watches from a distance, stiff as stone. Alexander unfolds the paper, reads one line, stops breathing. It isn't a clean label or printout. It's a crumpled clinic consent form, smudged at the edges, with one line highlighted in yellow. Intended parents, Alexander Ward and Lillian Ward. And under it, in shaky pen, someone, probably Raya, circled it twice. He reads it again, and again. His fingers tremble, his chest tightens, his vision blurs. Ward genetic line. His name, his family, his child. He looks up slowly, like a man waking into a nightmare. The ambulance carrying Raya disappears down the long driveway. Alexander turns toward Lillian. "What is this?" he asks quietly. Too quietly. Lillian steps forward with a brittle smile. "Alexander, let's talk inside." "No," he whispers. "Right here." Phones rise again. He doesn't notice. She does. "Alexander," Lillian says, lowering her voice. "This is not the place. People are watching." "It has my name on it," he says, louder now. "My name, and hers." He holds up the paper, hand shaking. "What did you do?" Lillian's carefully crafted expression fractures. "It wasn't supposed to involve her anymore," she mutters. The crowd around them freezes. A woman near the back whispers, "What does that mean?" Alexander looks like the floor is spinning beneath him. "Lillian, did you put my embryo into that woman?" His voice cracks. Lillian exhales sharply, annoyed. Annoyed. "She was compensated," she snaps, "and she breached the contract. She ran." "She ran," Alexander repeats. "Ran from what?" Lillian's jaw twitches. "Stop yelling. You're embarrassing yourself." "Me?" Alexander steps backward like he's been punched. "You made a stranger, an innocent woman, carry my child and you didn't tell me?" His voice breaks, raw now. "You didn't tell her the truth either, did you?" Lillian's composure finally ruptures. "You never wanted a child!" she explodes. "You said you weren't ready, so I did what needed to be done." Gasps ripple across the crowd. Alexander stares at her, grief spreading across his face like a bruise. "Needed to be done," he repeats softly. "Without consent, without honesty, without humanity." Lillian's breath grows sharp. "Don't be dramatic. She was compensated, and she was never meant to come back into our lives." "Except she did," Alexander fires back, "because she almost died on our property carrying a child I didn't even know existed." The crowd murmurs louder. Someone whispers, "This is human trafficking." Another, "This is illegal." Someone records close-up footage. Lillian sees the phones. Her eyes widen. "Put those down," she snaps. "This is a private matter." Alexander cuts her off, devastated and shaking. "Private matters don't begin with coercion and end with a woman begging me not to let someone take her baby." Silence consumes the entire hall, thick, suffocating, electric. Lillian looks around, trapped, furious, humiliated. Alexander doesn't look at her again. He looks at the ambulance lights vanishing down the long road. His voice drops to a whisper that breaks the room. "My child is out there, in pain, terrified, and the woman carrying him trusted me more in 5 minutes than she trusted anyone in 2 years." Everyone watches the billionaire's world implode. And this time, they film every second. Alexander didn't walk into the hospital. He storms through it. His shoes smear rainwater across the polished floor as he shoves through the automatic doors, chest heaving, that damning document crushed in his fist. Nurses look up. Security straightens. Phones lift before he even reaches the desk. "Where is she?" he demands. "Sir, where is Raya Coleman?" A nurse points down the hall, pale. Alexander is already moving. He slams through the maternity ward doors and stops cold. Raya lies on a hospital bed, curled around her stomach like she's trying to protect her baby from the whole world. Her gown is twisted. Her eyes are red. Her hair sticks to her cheeks. She is shaking so violently the bed rails rattle. A doctor hovers over her. Another adjusts monitors. A third whispers, "We need to prepare for emergency delivery." Raya sees Alexander. Her breath spasms. They said they were calling someone to take him. They said..." "Who said that?" Alexander asks. She sobs. Security. A woman. Blonde. Cold eyes. A shadow fills the doorway. Lillian. Flanked by 2 lawyers like guard dogs. She steps inside, voice smooth as poison. "This woman is mentally unstable. We need the baby secured. Legally." Raya lets out a sound that isn't a cry. It's a wound tearing open. "You tried to take him from me before," she screams. "You lied to me. You drugged me. You said he wasn't anybody's child. You said the embryo wasn't even viable, just a procedure for experience." Doctors freeze. Nurses stare. Alexander between them so fast the lawyers flinch. "Stop talking," he says to Lillian. His voice is low, too low. Dangerous. Lillian lifts her chin. "Alexander, please. You don't understand." Her voice hardens. "Do you know how many women would kill for the chance to carry a ward child? I gave her an opportunity." "No," Alexander says, turning to face her fully. "You don't." The air in the room tightens. He turns slowly to the staff, to the nurses, to the doctors, to the bystanders gathering at the doorway. Everyone in here should hear this. Phones rise in perfect unison. A nurse whispers, "Is this happening?" A reporter who had been covering a different case up the hall rushes in, camera already recording. Lillian tries to back out of the light. "Alexander, don't do this." "This woman," Alexander says, pointing to Raya without taking his eyes off Lillian, "was our surrogate. My surrogate." Gasps explode around the room. Lillian's lips tremble. One lawyer mutters, "We should leave." Alexander raises the document. "You hid her pregnancy. You hid my child. You paid off doctors. You paid off staff. You cut her off when she got sick. You endangered her life and our son's." His voice cracks, just a hair, but it lands like a hammer. "And then," he continues, "you tried to erase her. Pretend she never existed. Pretend he never existed." The room is completely silent, except for Raya. She breaks, not quietly, not neatly, not politely. She folds forward and sobs into her hands, the kind of grief that comes from several months of running, hiding, being hunted by lawyers who treated her like a thief carrying stolen goods. Her whole body trembles. A nurse reaches for her shoulder, voice soft. "We're here. We hear you." Lillian finally panics, stepping toward Alexander. "You're ruining everything." "No," Alexander says, stepping in front of her with the force of a closing door. "You ruined everything." He turns to the doctors. "To all of you, Raya stays under my protection. No one touches her. No one touches our child. Not without her consent." Phones capture every word, and for the first time in several months of running, Raya is safe. Not because the system protected her, but because the truth finally reached someone who could no longer look away. The video leaks before Alexander can even wash the hospital smell off his hands. A nurse posts it anonymously on Twitter. A reporter uploads the full clip to TikTok. A bystander sends it to a reproductive justice page with 300,000 followers. Within minutes, the algorithm grabs it like gasoline. Millions see it before dawn. Hashtags erupt across every platform. Hashtag justice for Raya, hashtag surrogate scandal, hashtag ward, cover up, hashtag not your womb. Comments flood in. This is human trafficking disguised as fertility care. She's pregnant and terrified? Someone needs to go to jail. Why was she running from the people who should have protected her? The story detonates beyond the hospital walls. Advocacy groups jump in first. Black Women's Health Alliance condemns predatory surrogacy pipelines. Reproductive Rights Council demands a federal investigation. The National Birthing Justice Fund offers Raya pro bono legal protection before sunrise. Then come the legal experts. On morning news panels, they use words like coercion, fraud, medical misconduct, reproductive exploitation. A Stanford ethicist says, her consent was never real. This wasn't surrogacy, it was procurement. But the loudest voice? Women who were in the same program. One posts a trembling selfie video. They threatened us if we asked questions. Another writes a long thread. They called us compensated incubators. We weren't allowed to see our own charts. A third whispers into a cracked phone. They drugged me too. We never met the parents. We were numbers, not people. Within hours, nearly a dozen women come forward. Different cities, different clinics, same doctor, same anonymous funding network. And at the center of every story? Lillian Ward. The Ward Foundation starts to bleed publicly. Stock prices sink 14% in a day. Partners suspend donations. Sponsors freeze contracts. Lillian's PR team tries to spin it. At this time, Mrs. Ward is focused on her family. They are cut off by the interviewer. Is it true she attempted to take a newborn from a surrogate without consent? Her lawyer tries to intervene live on air. We won't be answering. He is fired mid-interview. A mic catches it. Pack your things, you're done. The clip itself becomes a meme. But the final blow doesn't come from social media. It comes from a hospital whistleblower. A staff member leaks internal documents to a journalist. Email chains showing Lillian instructing the clinic to terminate Raya's prenatal care. Notes that she wanted to minimize costs and liability exposure. A line that shatters the internet. If she miscarries, there's no contract to worry about. Public rage turns volcanic. Alexander reads the documents in the hospital hallway. His shoulders slump first, then stiffen. His jaw clenches like steel. There is no more ambiguity, no more loyalty to salvage, no more marriage to pretend exists. He walks into Raya's room. Her IV beeps softly. Her eyes flicker open. Fear, exhaustion, hope tangled together. He sits beside her. Raya, he says quietly, I know everything now. He takes her trembling hand. And I'm choosing you. Phones in the hallway capture the moment. Not for gossip, but because the world finally sees a man choosing truth over money, status, and the woman who tried to destroy both him and Raya. The world doesn't calm down. It erupts. 3 days after the hospital confrontation, Alexander Ward steps onto the steps of the Ward Global Headquarters. Reporters swarm. Camera flashes explode. Security forms a wall. But Alexander looks different. No tailored arrogance, no billionaire swagger, no cold poise. Just a man trembling with the weight of truth. He taps the mic. His voice shakes, steady but stripped of the old armor. My name is Alexander Ward, and I failed to protect the mother of my child. Gasps ripple across the crowd. Phones shoot upward. Live streams skyrocket. Alexander continues, "My wife, Lillian Ward, acted without my knowledge, consent, or humanity. She endangered a woman's life. She violated ethical and legal boundaries, and she lied to me, to you, to everyone." He breathes in, shaking. As of this morning, Lillian Ward has been removed from every board and committee associated with this company or our foundation indefinitely. The crowd erupts. He isn't done. "We are opening a criminal investigation into Dr. Reeve and every clinic involved." A murmur rises. Shock, justice, disbelief. "And for the women who were exploited, silenced, threatened." He pauses, voice breaking. "We are establishing a compensation fund, immediate, unrestricted resources, legal protection, medical care. Reporters shout questions." Alexander raises a hand, stopping them. "One more announcement." Behind him, a banner unfurls on the building. White fabric, bold letters, the Coleman Center for Reproductive Justice, named for Raya. A collective gasp sweeps across the plaza. "We will rebuild the system we helped break," Alexander says, "and Raya Coleman will guide us." Later, inside a quiet hospital recovery room, Raya sits propped up in bed. Her baby rests in a crib beside her, tiny chest rising softly under the warm glow of a nightlight. Alexander enters. No cameras, no entourage, no performance. Just him. He kneels beside her bed. "Raya, everything I did out there, I want you to have whatever you need. Housing, security, care, anything." Raya interrupts gently. "Alexander," she whispers, "I don't want to be rescued." He freezes. Her eyes shine, but not with fear. With resolve. "I want the truth protected. I want my child protected. I want to raise him in dignity, not debt." He swallows hard. "And I want shared custody, not dependence, not ownership, not a savior." Alexander's throat closes. Emotion crushes into him. Years of numbness cracking open like ice under heat. "Nobody's ever spoken to me like that," he whispers. Raya manages a tired smile. "Maybe nobody ever expected you to listen?" Something in him breaks, quietly, deeply. Alexander leans forward, covers his face with both hands, and cries, not billionaire tears, not guilty tears, real tears. A man confronting the damage done by the world he inherited and the chance to repair it. When he finally raises his head, his voice is barely a breath. "I want to do right by both of you, not because it looks good on paper, but because it's what you deserve." Raya nods. "Then start by standing next to me, not above me." He nods back, slow, humbled, transformed. And for the first time in years, Alexander Ward stands as a father. Not a billionaire, not a headline, just a man trying to rebuild something honest. The hospital room is dim, warm, quiet. Raya sits upright, cradling her newborn son against her chest. His tiny fingers curl and uncurl on her skin. Soft, searching, alive. Alexander sits beside her. Not hovering, not claiming, not performing. Just present. Hands folded. Breath steady, eyes soft in a way the world has never seen from him. A nurse at the doorway lifts her phone, capturing a moment no press release could manufacture. Raya shifts the baby slightly, and without thinking, Alexander reaches to support the little hand. For 1 second, one breathtaking second, both their hands rest on the child's together. A fragile bridge, a new beginning. a truth no one can erase. The camera captures it all. They tried to claim her body. They tried to erase her voice. But they never owned her strength. My son will grow up knowing the truth, she whispers, not the version powerful people tried to write. This is Black Stories, where silence breaks, dignity rises, and justice rewrites the ending. If you believe no one's body should be used without their voice, like, share, and subscribe.
Años exactamente, bueno, no exactamente, ¿no? Un grupo de soñadores en La Paz decidió fundar algo que trascendería generaciones. El glorioso Club Bolívar. No imaginaron que... Oye, me he esforzado al hacer el discurso. ¿Qué ponen ZZ, chat? Basta, me he esforzado, se los juro que me he esforzado, bro, basta. Por favor, me he esforzado en el discurso, respétenme un poquito, chat. Bueno, igual lo voy a leer, me la chupan, la verdad. Chat, nefastos. Son unos envidiosos, ¿saben? Son unos envidiosos. ¿En qué me quedé? No imaginaron que ese nombre se convertiría en un sinónimo de grandeza, lucha y de orgullo nacional. 101 años después, Bolívar no es solo un club, es un sentimiento que se hereda, que se sufre y se celebra. Últimamente sufrimos mucho por Robato, ¿no? Es el latido de miles de hinchas que en cada victoria y en cada caída nunca abandonan, ¿verdad? Nomás. Porque ser celeste no es una elección, es una forma de vivir. Muy bien, qué lindo, un aplauso. Bravo, bravo. Muchachos, tremendo discurso. Buenas noches, Dieguito, ¿cómo estás? Por lo menos ponte tu chompita, pues, un busito para leer el discurso. A ver, cállate, Gabo, ¿vos quieres ser baneado? Este discurso lo he hecho en mi cama, pensando en lo que es ser bolivarista, la verdad. Un aplauso, por favor, y con ayuda también del gran ChatGPT. Un aplauso para ChatGPT. Ah, ¿cuál era la finalización? De un ratito, dice. Que estos 101 años sean solo el comienzo de muchas más llenos de alegría. Felicidades, Academia. Felicidades, Bolívar. ¡Bravo! Aplausos para ChatGPT, muchachos. Para vos no, dice. Buenas noches, muchachos, ¿cómo están? Gracias por estar aquí, perdón por prender tan tarde. La verdad estaba viendo mi serie, estaba viendo el regreso de Justin Bieber. Estaba, bueno, toda la tarde me vi fútbol, hasta vi el partido del Tigre. Vi el partido de River, vi el partido de Oriente. Las declaraciones de Martins, tremendo lo de Martins, bebé, le tiró palo a Villegas, pero bien tirado. Huevada, en su cama lo hizo todo pajeado pensando en el... No, ¿qué dice este Arielito? Oye, ¿quiénes vamos, no? Mi sobrino de quién redacta mejor. Dile eso a ChatGPT, yo no he redactado. ¿Qué me estás molestando a mí? Felicidades. Qué basado. Pues la verdad nomás. ¿Qué quieren que les diga? A ver, ¿qué les puedo decir, muchachos? Yo no publiqué nada en mi página, la verdad no hice nada estos días. Han sido momentos difíciles. Bien triste, ¿no? Mentira. Pero no, muchachos, bueno. Quiero felicitar a todos los que son bolivaristas y hoy en día más que nunca, ¿no? Que es difícil ser bolivarista en el sentido de todo el contexto que estamos pasando con el técnico. Pero si lo ven por el otro lado también hay que sentirnos orgullosos porque hemos llegado a estos 101 años. Creo que como la institución mejor parada, tanto económicamente, futbolísticamente y dirigencialmente diría, pero no, creo que no, ahí nos falta, ¿no? Ese eslabón para poder ser una institución sólida. Y como ayer creo que lo decía Dardo Gómez en su publicación en el Cholet, que Dios mío, ¿de dónde cagan tanta plata, bebés? Más fuegos pirotécnicos que en el aniversario de La Paz, no mames. Tremendo, felicidades a los del Cholet y a ver si pasan pues algunos moneys. No mentira. Que dijo que el dirigente tiene que estar siempre al lado del hincha. Y eso es mucha verdad. Y no es por darle palo a Claure, porque él tendrá sus funciones, las cosas que tienen que hacer. Pero creo que por esa parte que estoy... Uy, ¿qué? No, todavía no va a arrancar la fiesta, Tucán, tranquilo. Y por esa parte creo que está bien, ¿no? Está bien. Y bueno, se vienen unas futuras elecciones donde el principal candidato es Dardo Gómez a seguir manejando lo que es este club tan bonito que es Bolívar, ¿no? Por detrás, obviamente, yo creo que tiene que haber gente que lo asesore. Espera, ¿mi gatita se ha hecho pipí? No, ya, más bien. Me ha asustado, chicos, la verdad, me ha asustado. Ya saben ustedes, rayada está mi gatita últimamente, ¿no? No, ¿qué dice este Edipox? Y bueno, muchachos, nos espera, creo, un futuro grandioso. Yo lo dije, creo que esta es una oportunidad ya con el Stadium de una vez establecernos como un club de fútbol, pero serio, y fuera de ser autosostenible, que se proyecte a más, ¿me entiendes? No estancarnos en solo ser un club boliviano, sino ya empezar a soñar con, no sé, a ver, por ejemplo, la venta de butacas en el estadio, venta de marketing, merchandising, que se vaya ampliando más las sociedades, ¿me entienden? O sea, yo creo que si una cabeza maneja bien todo eso, creo que podemos despegar, ¿me entiendes? Y no estar ahí creando leyes de mierda con el gobierno, pidiendo perdón para que nos perdonen los impuestos, ¿no? Los gatos, ¿no? Entonces, creo que, o ser un club que está a punto de desaparecer, como Wilstermann, que desapareció de la liga, pero está a punto de desaparecer, pero absolutamente de todo el fútbol. O ser clubes que le están mangueando el auspicio a la UTV y chupándosela al presidente de la federación por subsistir. Entonces, creo que Bolívar es muy grande y tiene, creo que, trascender. Eso es lo que nos falta, trascender, dar ese pasito para trascender y lograr los objetivos que siempre hemos querido, ya sea una Copa Sudamericana o una Copa Libertadores, ¿no? Y siempre tiene que ir de la mano. Estos últimos años, creo que es la verdad, se han ido alejando a las generaciones bolivaristas, al hincha común, al hincha fanático, a todos los tipos de hinchas se han ido alejando del club por justamente el mal trabajo que se ha ido realizando estos últimos años en Bolívar. ¿Qué decía Valdivia? Creo que dijo que dejó un club autosostenible. O sea, sí, no vamos a decir que no, ¿no? Económicamente creo que se dejó un club autosostenible. A ver, Solís, no pidas Gartic. Ya les he dicho qué cosa de Gartic. Hoy día es aniversario del club. Déjame hablar a ver de mi club, Solís. Igual en el grupo de WhatsApp, no, Tucán, jugaremos Gartic. No quiero dibujar huevadas, déjame, no voy a jugar Gartic. Ya les he dicho, si quieren dibujar, agarren un cuadernito y empiezan a dibujar sus huevadas. No me vengan a molestar a mí con su Gartic. Saludos, Reyisita, ¿cómo estás? ¿Todo bien? Gartic, temática Bolívar. No, métanse su Gartic por el poto, ya les he dicho. Y bueno, muchachos, ¿en qué estaba? Es que me enerva, muchachos, cada vez Gartic. Basta, no quiero jugar Gartic. Vayan a jugar Gartic con sus minas. Goclingo, huevadas hablas. Ya, espera, ¿qué habla este Ignacio Loza? Este Auri. Y bueno, muchachos, creo que sí, yo me quedo con eso. Este martes tenemos un partido muy importante en lo económico. Para mí, muy importante para ver qué está el club de cara a este año. Porque creo que es indispensable ganarle a ese equipo. En Copa Libertadores, obviamente por los 3 puntos y más, pero pensando a futuro, creo que es muy importante que se vea buen fútbol, ¿no? Y que la gente ya esté un poquito más tranquila con el funcionamiento del equipo. Ayer contra Bebé, bueno, el día sábado contra Bebé, se jugó un buen partido, no digo que un malo partido, creo que empezaron a aparecer personas, o bueno, jugadores que no estaban apareciendo, como es el Papu Velázquez, y muchos más, ¿no? Entonces, interesante. Y bueno, apareció Cauterucho, que en el partido de Libertadores no había aparecido ni de sombra. Parece que Cauterucho solo le mete goles a equipos como ABB. Y preocupa un poquito eso, ¿no? Hoy ganó el Tigre, está puntero con nosotros. Nacional Potosí también está compartiendo la punta con nosotros y muchos más que vienen bien entonándose en lo que es este torneo, ¿no? Que empezó retardísimo y creo que nos va a pesar no solo a nosotros, sino a los demás equipos que están participando en copas internacionales, ya sea Blooming el caso, ¿no? Y otros más. Mete gol equipo chicos como Dorni, pero Dorni ni jugó. ¿Qué dicen, chicos? ¿Qué dicen? La era Robato es la peor de todos los tiempos, bebé, tomando en cuenta el centenario que es una vez en la vida. Sí, es la peor. De los últimos 10 años, ¿se podría decir que lo de Robato es lo peor que nos pudo pasar? A ver, piensen. Es que con lo que me dice el técnico de... A ver, Ustedes pónganse a pensar, si tu técnico te dice que el objetivo era solo clasificar a Libertadores y que no estaba obligado a ser campeón, puta, ahí me la bajó mal, amigos. Sinceramente, me la bajó mal. Podía aceptarle todas sus huevadas y todo, pero cuando dijo eso, es como que me hizo sentir un club más del montón, ¿me entiendes? Un Nacional Potosí, una Aurora, no sé, otros equipos bien X. Así me hizo sentir, la verdad. Por eso yo vuelvo a repetir, yo voy a hablar de lo que veo en la cancha, y este martes, si es que Bolívar gana, se va a aplaudir, y si es que Bolívar pierde, bueno, también se va a criticar algunas cosas. Y